Welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey, subbing in today for Thomas Mott. We've got some news on Grady Jarrett, some Matt Ryan comments to get to as well. Before that, though, a quick question. What color do you think my shirt is that I am wearing on today's show? I'm talking about this side, the shoulders and arms as well. Stick around towards the end of the video for the correct answer, which might actually end up surprising you. But, of course, what you're really here for, Grady Jarrett has signed an extension with the Atlanta Falcons. A bit of a somewhat surprising move. I know the national media had said there were some trade rumors out there around Grady Jarrett. He's in the last year of his rather expensive contract. Turns out he's not going anywhere. He's going to stick around in Atlanta on a rather significantly sized contract. Per Ian Rappaport, which broke the news, or who broke the news, I should say, earlier this morning. It is a big money extension for Grady Jarrett. A 3-year deal worth up to $51 million. Grady Jarrett cashes in again, while Atlanta will also lower the cap. He had 1 year, about $16 million left. This is up to a $17 million per year extension, which might be more towards the last contract Grady Jarrett gets from the Falcons given his age. Jarrett last year was not the same player that he was in the past. The numbers had began to dip. 3 tackles for loss was not exactly ideal from that standpoint there. Arnold, 1 sack, also not that great. 12 quarterback hits. I think the scheme wasn't quite maximizing what the Falcons were hoping for with Grady Jarrett. But in theory, this year, with a much improved supporting cast around him, should result in more success. I mean, we can count on one hand the number of good outside pass rushers this team had this past season. Now, Arnold Ebeketie, the second-round pick from Penn State, edge rusher, Lorenzo Carter, even D'Angelo Malone, those guys will drastically boost the pass rush group. On the interior of the defensive line, in this 3-4 style front, Grady Jarrett is still going to be your full-time number 1 guy. Hoping for better play out of Marlon Davidson. Taquan Graham, the former Texas legend, also there, and is a good 3-4 defensive end. They added Vincent Taylor from the Houston Texans. John Kaminsky is still kind of a awkward tweener there. But this grouping of the front, I'll call it 7 if you want to include the linebackers, but the front 5 on that 5-man front, throwing Arnold Ebeketie, who I think starts for you day one, along with Lorenzo Carter, and D'Angelo Malone being one of your top backup situational pass rushers. That is a much improved group for the Falcons defense that, even compared to the other bad teams at getting pressure, were crazy bad. Eagles, 29 sacks. Lions, 30. Chiefs, 31. Jags, 32. And the Falcons, barely half of that figure. 18 sacks this past year for Atlanta. There is a very real chance they could double that figure, which sounds like a lot, and it's still actually not a huge figure relative to the rest of the NFL. This offseason, it's pretty clear to me, GM Terry Fontenot made the pass rush a clear priority and focus. Because how could you not, right? You let Dante Fowler go, and nobody is upset about it. Grady Jarrett was your one reliable interior or edge pass rusher there, and even his numbers weren't that great. You bring in Arnold Ebeketie, you sign Lorenzo Carter, you keep Grady Jarrett, you're hoping for bigger things out of Marlon Davidson, young guys like Taquan Graham, and you draft D'Angelo Malone around the top 100. All of those things hopefully result in more success and better play up front for the Falcons and will result in a better defensive performance overall. Now, if you're hyped about the Grady Jarrett contract extension, he's not going anywhere after all now, folks. Type 97 in for the comment section. I would like to see literally hundreds of 97s in the comments section. I want to thank all of you for getting our Falcons channel past the 6,000 subscriber mark. You guys are awesome. And we want to keep growing, and we need your help for that as well. So if you want more free Falcons videos almost every single day, you guys have come to the correct destination. Hit that big red button and subscribe at youtube.com/FalconsTV. Let's talk about Matt Ryan, who of course is no longer a member of the Falcons, but it didn't have to be this way for the organization. Matt Ryan, now the Colts quarterback, went on the Ryan Russillo podcast and had this to say about his leaving of Atlanta. When free agency starts to pick up and they start to look into what they want to do, I kind of got filled into the loop that they were going to look into Deshaun Watson. And then at that point I said, okay, I understand, but I also need to look into what I need to look into. And if this doesn't go down, find out if this is probably still the best fit for me. Had none of this gone down, i.e. the Falcons pursuing Watson, there's probably a pretty good chance, I stay in Atlanta. But it did, So when it does, when the situations change and the circumstances change, Ryan continued, I had always thought, like everybody, when you're drafted there and you play there, this is where I'm going to play my entire career. And had that been reciprocated on the other end for me, and so when that changed, I had to look into moving. It's pretty clear, had the Falcons not dug into the Deshaun Watson and been a finalist for him, Matt Ryan would still be this team's quarterback. Now, when Deshaun Watson had showed interest in the Falcons, and honestly, this is just my personal borderline conspiracy theory, had the Browns not thrown all of the money at Deshaun Watson and said, we will make you one of the highest paid QBs, full and guarantee your contract, I think the Falcons were going to win that bidding war for Deshaun Watson. So I understand why the organization felt like they had to pursue Deshaun Watson and try to bring him home and have their QB in theory for the next 10 to 15 years. I also get why Matt Ryan felt offended by that and said, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to go as well. Maybe I shouldn't be here anymore. Maybe I should look into a different organization and a different team because now he's going to have a better chance to have more success in the short term. Let's be honest with where the Falcons are at. They are rebuilding. Had they been still a top 10, top 15 team, I don't think Ryan would have liked to have gone to Indianapolis at that point. In the end, Matt Ryan goes down as one of, if not the greatest quarterback in Falcons history with a borderline Hall of Fame career. The lack of the Super Bowl ring is going to be a problem from that standpoint. And of course, now we're more focused on the replacements. That is Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder, the quarterback out of Cincinnati. Mariota's the veteran. He and Ridder do have some similar strengths and weaknesses, specifically from a mobility standpoint. I think the read option will be a focal part of this Falcons offense. Otherwise, I don't really know what the organization is doing. Utilize both of those QB's legs, and then I guess technically Felipe Franks can go there on the quarterback depth chart, even though he's not really a QB. Either way, when the year is over, I kind of think Desmond Ridder will emerge as this team's at least quarterback starting on the field. We'll see about franchise QB. Who do you think is the better QB? Type M for Marcus Mariota or type in R for Desmond Ridder? Now, if you want to bet on the Falcons, you can do it with BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Falcons. Use promo code Falcons125. That'll get you hooked up with a 125% deposit bonus. When you put down at least $100, they'll have over/under on win totals up there soon. Maybe you want to buy the Falcons. Maybe you want to fade them. Either way, do it with BetUS at chatsports.com/bet Falcons. Remember to use the promo code right there, Falcons125. More news on Atlanta from Jeremy Fowler, and a bit of an as-expected development here. They are picking up the fifth-year option of offensive guard Chris Lindstrom, the guard from Boston College. $13.2 million. Lindstrom had been the better of the two draft picks the Falcons made, trying to fix the offensive line in 1 year. They took Lindstrom in round one, traded back up into the draft to take Caleb McGarry out of Washington. And they are not going to pick up his option. That one does not surprise me at all. McGarry's been, to be blunt, a pretty big disappointment on the right side of the offensive line. Maybe Jermaine Ifedi wins that job. I doubt it. I think they'll roll with McGarry and pray he has a breakout year. You couldn't pick up his option, the fully guaranteed option, by the way. That didn't really make any sense. You've got one good guard starter in Chris Lindstrom. I like Jake Matthews. It is the left guard spot and the right tackle spot that are the problem spots for me right now on the offensive line. So when it comes to the O-line, is the Falcons unit a top half or bottom half unit in the NFL? I like the center play. I still believe in Matthews, Lindstrom. It's the the Mayfield-McGarry combination that has not been going great here. So type T for top half or B for bottom half as it relates to the offensive line. Sure, it's not orange, guys. It's green. You weren't ready for that one as well. Turns out weird things happen when you wear lime green T-shirts behind a green screen. So if you put in green without cheating, A, you might be colorblind, but also you were right in the end here on Falcons Today.